Hi, and welcome to my channel, Legend and Lies. Here's a timeline of the takedown of Harvey Weinstein, so sit back and let's get started. The name itself once commanded respect, even reverence, in the dazzling world of Hollywood. Here was a man who built an empire on dreams, a kingmaker who could turn scripts into gold and unknowns into stars. His company, Miramax, became synonymous with cinematic excellence, churning out award-winning hits that captivated audiences worldwide. From Quentin Tarantino's gritty dialogues to Shakespeare in Love's romantic charm, Weinstein had his finger on the pulse of cinema. He was the toast of every film festival, a fixture on red carpets, a man whose power seemed insurmountable. Weinstein's influence extended far beyond the silver screen. He was a player in the political arena, a generous donor to liberal causes, and a friend to the powerful and elite. Politicians sought his endorsement, celebrities craved his attention, and aspiring actors and filmmakers would have given anything to be in his good graces. He was the epitome of Hollywood success, a man who seemed to have it all. However, even in the heart of Tinseltown, where illusions are meticulously crafted and secrets fiercely guarded, rumors began to circulate. Like a persistent shadow clinging to his glittering persona, whispers of Weinstein's darker side spread through the industry. There were murmurs of inappropriate behavior, of unwanted advances, of a powerful man using his position to exploit and intimidate. These whispers, though hushed, hinted at a truth too unsettling to ignore. At first, they were just whispers, easily dismissed in the cacophony of Hollywood gossip. But as time went on, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, impossible to ignore. They spoke of a pattern of behavior, of a systematic abuse of power, of a man who believed himself to be untouchable. The whispers became a chorus, a low hum of fear and anger that reverberated through the industry, threatening to shatter the carefully constructed facade of Hollywood's golden boy. The 1990s in Hollywood were marked by a palpable undercurrent of fear when it came to Harvey Weinstein. His power, both real and perceived, was immense. He could make or break careers with a single phone call, catapulting aspiring actors to stardom or relegating them to obscurity. This power dynamic, coupled with the industry's culture of complicity, made it incredibly difficult for women to speak out. Many women feared that reporting Weinstein's behavior would lead to career suicide. They worried about being blacklisted, labeled as troublemakers, or simply not believed. The risk of retaliation was very real, and the potential consequences were devastating. So the silence persisted, a heavy blanket of fear smothering the truth. Weinstein's alleged modus operandi often involved luring young women to hotel rooms or private meetings under the pretense of discussing work. He would then allegedly make inappropriate advances, using a combination of flattery, promises of career advancement, and veiled threats. The pattern was chillingly consistent, trapping women in a cycle of fear and manipulation. Victims described feeling powerless to resist Weinstein's advances. He was, after all, one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, and refusing him could have meant jeopardizing their entire careers. The pressure to comply was immense, and the potential consequences of refusal were terrifying. The allegations against Weinstein went beyond the casting couch, extending to physical assault and rape. These harrowing accounts painted a picture of a man who felt entitled to women's bodies, a predator who used his power to silence and control his victims. The stories, though difficult to hear, were crucial in exposing the true extent of his alleged crimes. Despite the growing number of allegations, Weinstein remained largely untouchable throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. He was protected by a network of enablers, powerful lawyers, and a system that often favored the accused over the accuser. The whispers continued, but they were not yet loud enough to bring him down. Whispers amplified, the first cracks in the facade. As the new millennium dawned, the whispers about Harvey Weinstein's behavior began to grow louder. The rise of the internet and social media gave victims a platform to share their stories anonymously, chipping away at the wall of silence that had protected him for so long. Blogs and online forums became spaces where women in the entertainment industry could connect and share their experiences with Weinstein, realizing they were not alone. While these early online discussions were often anonymous, they helped to create a sense of community and solidarity among survivors. In 2015, actress Ashley Judd's veiled references to a powerful studio executive who had harassed her were widely interpreted as being about Weinstein. Though Judd did not explicitly name him at the time, her story resonated with many in Hollywood and beyond, bringing the issue of sexual harassment in the entertainment industry back into the spotlight. That same year, journalist Sharon Waxman began investigating allegations against Weinstein for the New York Times. Waxman interviewed several women who accused Weinstein of harassment and assault, but the story was ultimately killed by the newspaper, a decision that would later draw significant criticism. Despite this setback, the momentum was building, and the stage was set for a major reckoning. October 5, 2017, dawned like any other day in New York City. By nightfall, the city would be consumed by a news story that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. The New York Times published a damning account of Harvey Weinstein's alleged sexual misconduct. The article detailed allegations from several women, including actresses Ashley Judd and Rose McGowan. It included accounts of Weinstein's alleged predatory behavior and use of non-disclosure agreements. The impact was immediate and explosive. The story went viral, dominating headlines and social media feeds worldwide. The revelations about Weinstein sent shockwaves through Hollywood, shattering the industry's carefully crafted facade of glamour and glitz. A-list actors who had collaborated with Weinstein, many of whom had previously remained silent, issued statements condemning his alleged actions. The industry that had once protected him now seemed eager to distance itself from him, hoping to salvage its own reputation in the wake of the scandal. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the very institution that had awarded Weinstein numerous Oscars, expelled him from its ranks, an unprecedented move that underscored the severity of the allegations against him. Other organizations followed suit, severing ties with the disgraced producer and issuing condemnations of his alleged behavior. However, the reckoning went beyond mere statements and symbolic gestures. The Weinstein scandal triggered a wave of accusations against other powerful men in Hollywood and beyond. Emboldened by the courage of the women who had come forward against Weinstein, victims of sexual harassment and assault in various industries felt empowered to break their silence. The floodgates had opened, and there was no turning back. The outpouring of stories was both overwhelming and heartbreaking, highlighting the pervasiveness of sexual misconduct in society. It became clear that the problem extended far beyond Hollywood, permeating every level of society, from corporate boardrooms to university campuses. The Weinstein scandal had become a watershed moment, a catalyst for a long overdue national reckoning with the issue of sexual harassment and assault. Just days after the New York Times expose, The New Yorker published its own explosive report on Weinstein. Journalist Ronan Farrow revealed more harrowing accounts from women who accused Weinstein of sexual assault. The combined impact of the New York Times and New Yorker articles was seismic. It was a testament to the power of investigative journalism and the courage of the women who came forward. The stories resonated with countless individuals who had experienced similar forms of harassment and assault. The hashtag #MeToo, first coined by activist Tarana Burke, gained renewed momentum as a rallying cry for survivors. The Weinstein scandal was like a crack in a dam, releasing years of suppressed pain and anger. A global movement erupted, demanding accountability and an end to the culture of silence. The hashtag #MeToo, first used by Tarana Burke, went viral, symbolizing solidarity and empowerment. Social media was flooded with personal stories, emboldened by the courage of those who spoke out. The volume of these accounts highlighted the pervasiveness of the problem. It became clear that sexual misconduct was a systemic issue. The #MeToo movement transcended boundaries, uniting millions around shared experiences. It sparked conversations in homes, workplaces, and governments. The movement challenged societal norms and protected victims. The impact of #MeToo was undeniable. It created a space for survivors to feel seen, heard, and believed. It challenged the culture of victim blaming and shifted focus towards accountability. The movement sparked a wave of activism and policy changes. The world was listening, and the conversation had shifted. As the #MeToo movement gained momentum, the walls began to close in on Harvey Weinstein. His carefully constructed facade of power and influence crumbled as the world bore witness to his dramatic fall from grace. The once revered Hollywood titan became a pariah, shunned by the industry he had once dominated. Weinstein's own company, the Weinstein Company, fired him just days after the New York Times expose broke. His wife, fashion designer Georgina Chapman, announced their separation, further isolating him from his inner circle. The board of directors of his company resigned en masse, leaving Weinstein increasingly isolated and facing a future fraught with uncertainty. His reputation lay in tatters, his legacy forever tarnished by the allegations against him. The accolades and awards that had once defined his career now rang hollow, overshadowed by the weight of his alleged crimes. The man who had once held court at film festivals and award ceremonies was now the subject of scorn and derision, his name synonymous with abuse of power and the dark side of Hollywood. The speed and ferocity of Weinstein's downfall sent a clear message that the old rules no longer applied. The industry that had once protected him, turning a blind eye to his alleged misconduct, was now eager to distance itself from him, fearing the taint of association. The message was clear. Times were changing, and there would be consequences for those who abused their power. The long arm of the law. The legal process was just beginning. Law enforcement agencies opened investigations into Weinstein's alleged conduct. In May 2018, Weinstein was arrested in New York City on charges of rape and sexual misconduct. The charges marked a significant turning point. Weinstein faced the possibility of criminal prosecution. He was released on bail, but the legal battle was far from over. He faced numerous civil lawsuits. His legal team faced a barrage of accusations. The prosecution represented a test of the justice system. The outcome could set a precedent. The world was watching. The trial of Harvey Weinstein commenced in January 2020, capturing global attention. Weinstein, once a Hollywood titan, appeared frail, his swagger replaced by anxiety. The prosecution, led by ADA Jonah Luzzi, portrayed Weinstein as a serial predator. The defense aimed to discredit the accusers, arguing the encounters were consensual. The courtroom became a battleground of narratives, each side vying to sway the jury. The prosecution's case hinged on the testimonies of 6 brave women. Each recounted harrowing experiences, painting a disturbing picture of Weinstein's behavior. Actress Annabella Sciorra accused Weinstein of raping her in the early 1990s. Miriam Haley testified Weinstein forced oral sex on her in 2006. Despite rigorous cross-examinations, the accusers' testimonies stood as a testament to their courage. In February 2020, the jury found Weinstein guilty of 2 charges. He was acquitted of the most serious charges, avoiding a life sentence. The verdict was hailed as a landmark moment in the #MeToo era. Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison in March 2020. Accusers shared victim impact statements, highlighting the lasting impact of his actions. Weinstein's downfall marked a watershed moment in the fight against sexual harassment. The entertainment industry underwent a seismic shift, implementing stricter policies. The impact extended beyond Hollywood, prompting action in various sectors. The #MeToo movement became a global force for change. The conversation shifted, and the world began to listen. The Weinstein case empowered survivors to share their stories. The power dynamics protecting abusers began to shift. Social media became a platform for survivors to connect and find strength. The #MeToo movement demonstrated the power of collective action. The conversation shifted from victim blaming to holding perpetrators accountable. Despite progress, the fight against sexual harassment is far from over. Underreporting remains a significant challenge. Addressing power imbalances and promoting diversity are crucial steps. Creating a culture of respect is essential to preventing future harm. The journey towards justice continues, fueled by the courage of survivors. Weinstein's saga forced the world to confront uncomfortable truths. His downfall became a symbol of a shifting tide. The case exposed the dark underbelly of an industry complicit in abuse. The #MeToo movement ignited a global conversation about power and consent. The message was clear: the time for silence was over. Weinstein's conviction is a significant victory, but the fight continues. Systemic issues that enabled his behavior persist. The path to justice for survivors remains fraught with obstacles. Creating lasting change requires dismantling power structures and fostering respect. The fight for a safer, more equitable world continues, driven by the courage of survivors. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and hit the notification bell.